So we are on the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 14, text 20, where last time we concluded. And Krishna points out in this seminal chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita dealing with Prakriti, that Prakriti is insurmountable by you. You are infinitesimal. You are an ansh of Krishna. And as an ansh of Krishna, you are unable to overcome Prakriti. This has been declared in the Bhagavad-Gita by Krishna, where he says, Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Mana Shasta Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. Since you are an ansh of me, since you are a fragment of me, you are struggling to control your mind and your six senses. Why? Because Krishna says that indeed Prakriti is his divine energy. And since it is his divine energy, it's very difficult to overcome because you are infinitesimal. Daivi yasagunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. That while you cannot wrestle with your Prakriti, if you surrender unto Krishna, you can transcend it. And so in text 20, Krishna points out to Arjuna that you, the embodied soul, the Kshetrajna, the Jivatma, you who are the individual soul, the individual Purush, infinitesimal, can transcend the three gunas, and by transcending the three gunas, you overcome birth, death, old age, disease, unhappiness, and various distresses. Gunanetan atitya trin dehi deha samudbhavam janma mrityu jara dukhair vimukto amritam ashnute. So you can't change the gunas yourself. It would be like wrestling with your own shadow. Everything works in automatic transmission. But Krishna says, you can transcend these gunas. And how do you transcend these gunas? Krishna says that by transcending these gunas, you become free from the cycle of birth and death and old age and disease and unhappiness. कार्य कारणम कर्तृत्वे हेतुर प्रकृति उच्यते पुरुष सुख दुखानाम भोक्तृत्व हेतु उच्यते. Everything is performed by Prakriti, but you enjoy and you suffer because you identify with it. And he also goes on to say that because of your association with Prakriti, because of your misidentification with Prakriti, you go into birth after birth. And going into birth after birth, you experience various sufferings, which is indeed only Prakriti experiencing itself. Do you feel angry? Do you feel hurt? Do you feel guilty? That is your misidentification. That is, my friend, your ahankar. Instead of being the observer, instead of being the witness, instead of being the sakshi, watching the gunas in their play, you're experiencing hurt, you're experiencing anger, you're experiencing guilt because you are identifying with Prakriti. It's like when you go to a movie, there's a lot going on the screen. There's anger, there's hatred, there is suffering. But because you identify with the movie so much, even though you are in the seat of the movie theater, you are experiencing all these emotions. But if you're simply watching the movie as an observer, then you would be free from the suffering that is there on the screen. So Arjun asks in text 21 to Krishna, Arjuna vacha kairlinges trin gunanitan atito bhavati prabho kim achara kathans chaitans trin gunanati vartate. Hey Bhagavan, Arjuna is saying to Krishna, what are the symptoms of one who is transcendental to the gunas? What is his behavior? And how does he transcend these modes of nature? If I want to go beyond the gunas, the original instruction given to Arjun by Krishna is very clear. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvandva Nitya Sattvasto Niryogakshem Atmavan. Become Nistraigunya, rise beyond the gunas. And thus, Arjuna Krishna is asked by Arjuna, how do I know that one has transcended the gunas? What is the behavior of such a person? And how does he transcend these gunas? And Krishna answers him, Prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham eva cha pandava na dveshati sampravritani na nivritani kankshati. Because now he is not identifying with Prakriti, he is not attached to the gunas, he does not misidentify with the gunas. The individual soul is indifferent to whether there is sattva gun, prakasham cha, whether there is rajagun, pravrittim cha, or whether there is tamagun, moham eva cha pandava. So whether there is illumination, whether there is attachment, or whether there is delusion, the individual soul is completely independent of all of them. He does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present. Neither does he long for them when they disappear. He doesn't believe, oh, now I should be sattvic all the time. Oh, now is the time to be rajasic. No. He is indifferent to all the gunas. This is the characteristic of being Gunatita. This Prakriti may manifest in various ways. But you, who are Gunatita, is unaffected by these gunas. You do not desire one guna and you do not reject another guna. Udasina vadasina gune yo na vichalyate guna vartantya itya evam yo avatishtate ningate. You are seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond the material reactions of Prakriti, beyond Sattva, beyond Rajas, beyond Tamas. You remain firm, knowing at all times that the gunas alone are active. You are free from experiencing suffering of the gunas. The gunas are acting totally independent of you. They are in fact being operated entirely by Krishna. Mayadhyakshena prakriti sachu suyate sacharacharam hetuna nena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. Krishna is the adhyaksh, he is the controller, he is the manager, he is the supervisor of Prakriti. So for one who is beyond the gunas, he has stepped out of the way. He has stopped being the kabab mein haddi. He has stopped being something that is in between God and Prakriti. He is one with God. He does not exist. He is entirely focused on God. And God directs the gunas. And such a person, Krishna says, sama sukha dukha swastha sama loshtashma kanchanah tulya priya priyodhiras tulya nindatma sanstuti. So he looks upon a rock and a stone and a piece of gold with equal vision. He looks upon a clod of dust, a stone, and a piece of gold with equal vision. He regards pain and pleasure alike. He is wise, and he holds praise and blame to be the same. This is the nature of a person who has, or this is the behavior of a person who has transcended Prakriti. Man apmanayos tulyas tulyo mitrari pakshayo sarvaramba parityagi gunatita sauchyate. So Krishna explains, he holds praise and blame to be the same. He is unchanged in honor and dishonor. He treats friend and foe to be alike. He has abandoned all undertakings for any result or fruit. He is doing everything as a matter of duty. Such a man is said to have transcended the three gunas. So, if you've been studying the Bhagavad-Geeta with me or otherwise, you will have seen that Krishna talks about the same state through different paths throughout the Bhagavad-Gita. There is, in fact, the Sthita Prajna. There is the Karma Yogi. There is the Dhyana Yogi. There is the Bhakta. And now, of course, you have the Gunatita. So the question arises, how does one attain this state? How does one become the observer? How does one not identify with the gunas? How does one transcend the gunas? How does one become free from suffering? How does one become free from joy and sorrow, honor and dishonor, pain and pleasure? How does one become free from attachment, fear, anger, from hurt and guilt? How do you become free? And the answer is given here in text 26. Krishna gives the answer, which is only a reiteration of what he has already explained from chapter 7 to 12. Mam chayo avhyabicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityetan brahma bhuya kalpate. One who is engaged in devotion, pure devotion, without any interruption, avhyabicharena, without a fail. Such a person who is constantly rendering service to God, whose mind is fixed upon Him, at once he transcends the three gunas and arrives at the level of Brahman. Clearly, Krishna is explaining. In the Bhagavad, there is an elaboration of what is bhakti, and there's many other texts which elaborate on bhakti. Sa vai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhok saje. Ahai tuki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. Very clearly, Krishna says that when you are engaged in bhakti, which is avyabhicharena, without any interruption, without failing. So in the Bhagavad he says that that religion which truly satisfies the soul is that religion which is both apratihata, without any interruption, like avyabhicharena, and it is unmotivated. Sa vai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhoksaje ahai tuki bhakti. That is ahai tuki, which is without motive. So one who is engaged in the worship of God without any interruption, without any without failing at any stage, one who is engaging in worshipping God without any motive, such a person is situated on the spiritual platform which is known as Brahman. So please understand that while Krishna has explained everything about the gunas, and many people refer to the last 6 chapters of the Bhagavad-Geeta as emphasizing Jnana Yoga, here Krishna is clearly saying that Prakriti can be transcended through Bhakti Yoga. That when you engage in Bhakti without interruption, avyabhicharena, apratihata, and of course, as I pointed out, ahaituki, without any motive, one crosses beyond the 3 gunas. This is very, very important because this is the solution to the gunas. The solution to the gunas is not trying to change from tamagun to rajagun or rajagun to sattvagun or other way around. When you're sleepy, you're influenced by tamagun. Don't be identifying with it. If you're sleepy, sleep. If you feel the urge for activity, because there is a predominance of rajagun, let Krishna take over that rajagun and engage in activity. Whether it is your work, whether it is your gym, whether it is any other form of activity, engage in it, because that is what Krishna is doing to your Prakriti with Rajagun. And when you are illuminating all the gates of your body with knowledge, when all the Jnana Indriyas are activated in Sattva Guna, then also let Krishna engage your Prakriti in Sattva Guna. You are a part, you are engaged in remembering God. In fact, you are 2 things. You are the Kshetrajna, and you are carrying with you your Kshetra. So the Kshetra should be engaged in the purpose of its creation. That is, you should engage in doing the Swadharma for which your Kshetra was created. And the soul, the Kshetrajna, he has a Swadharma of his own, which is to remain fixed on God. And when the Swadharma of the Kshetra and the Swadharma of the Kshetrajna are engaged in parallel, then you attain the supreme destination. Yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana abhyarchaya siddhim vindati manavah. And each person, by performing his God-given duty in a spirit of sacrifice to the all-pervading Lord, they attain perfection. Indeed, when one attains Brahman, what happens? one gets parabhakti. Brahmabhut prasannatma na sochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Because when you attain Brahman realization, you get parabhakti, which is the purest form of bhakti. And it is through bhakti that you know Krishna. Because he says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyaschashmi tatvata tato mam tatvato gnatva vishate tadanantaram. Krishna says, and when you have this parabhakti, through this parabhakti you shall know me as I am, and you shall enter into my being from where there is no return. And having in 26 explained that rising beyond the gunas, you are situated on the platform of Brahman, in text 27, Krishna explains very clearly that he is the source of Brahman. He is the rest of Brahman. He is the foundation of Brahman. It is from Krishna that Brahman emanates. In text 27, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya avyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya aikantikasya cha. And I am the source, I am the basis, I am the rest, I am the support of the impersonal Brahman, which is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness, which is immortal, imperishable, and which is eternal. Thus, Krishna concludes the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. So while Krishna explains all the gunas, how tamagun is rusty iron handcuffs, while rajagun is stainless steel handcuffs, and how sattvagun is golden handcuffs, and that sattvagun, rajagun, tamagun are always fighting amongst themselves, and how tamagun binds you through heedlessness, through laziness, through sloth. Rajagun binds you through the fruitive desire for fruitive activities. It creates uncontrollable desire, lust, greed, anger, and binds you through those. Krishna explains that Sattvagun also, while the purest of all, Nirmalatvat, it is the most pure of all the three gunas. Even the purest of all three gunas, which normally creates harmony, even that binds you through attachment to happiness and to knowledge. So if you are seeking knowledge, if you are seeking happiness, that will bind you to Prakriti. But Krishna says, rise beyond the three gunas. Nistraya gunya bhavarjuna. Rise beyond the gunas, because as long as you are bound to the gunas, when you leave this body, you will go to higher planets. You will go to the middle planets like we are in presently, or you will go to the lower planets. As long as you are attached to the gunas, you will experience suffering. You will experience anger and rage and hurt and pain. You will experience lust and anger and greed and envy and illusion and madness. But when you transcend the gunas, you return back to Godhead. You are free from rebirth. You are free from suffering. You are in fact situated as an observer, watching the gunas in their interplay. You stop interfering with the gunas by standing apart. And by standing apart, you allow Krishna to act through you and through your Prakriti. You no longer are an individual who offers a resistance to the will of God, you surrender to the will of God. And thus your Prakriti acts optimally. And thus the solution to the gunas very clearly is pointed out here in this 14th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, where the solution to the gunas is not to change from one guna to the other. Indeed, the purpose of the solution is to transcend the gunas altogether. You may well ask then, why does Krishna, having given the solution to the gunas, which is to become Gunatita through Bhakti Yoga, Avyabhicharini Bhakti, why does Krishna go back again and mention the gunas in the 6th chapter, in the 16th chapter, in the 17th chapter, and even a good bit of the 18th chapter? That, of course, I shall explain to you when we come to these chapters. But sufficient for you to know now that the real solution to the gunas is to transcend them by surrendering to God, by engaging in avyabhicharini bhakti, ahaituki apratihata bhakti. So with this, I conclude the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita. If you have any queries, questions, comments, please feel free to ask me.
Thank you so much, Shantuji, for today's session. My first question is, in today's world of constant stimulation or distractions, what are the simple steps to cultivate sattva first and then rise above all the three gunas?
So we will come to that in the 16th chapter. The solution to the gunas is not to cultivate sattva. The solution to the gunas is to transcend all the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. That should be very clear. But for those who are not able to transcend all the gunas, if one simply follows the scripture, by following the scriptures and their guidelines, they serve as a guardrail to keep you on the path toward Sattvagun. If not in Sattvagun, at least toward Sattvagun. So in the 16th chapter, Krishna points out, Ya Shastra Vidhi Mutsrijaya Vartate Kama Karata na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na paramgati. One who disregards the injunctions of the scripture, who acts according to his own whim and fancy, well, he's the demonic person. But one who follows the scripture, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Vyavastita. So if you are indeed, Krishna says, so follow the scripture. And by following the scripture, you will become inclined to understand God.
Okay. And my next question is Gunatita the same as moksha, or is it a stepping stone? How do they connect?
The one who is Gunatita is Jivan Mukta. He is liberated even while he is within this body. So it is the same.
It is the same as moksha.
There are two types of guna of becoming moksha. One is Jivan Mukta, that is while you are living in this body, you attain mukti. And when you leave this body, that is Videha Mukta, without the body, you are Mukta. So one who is Jivan Mukta is one who is Gunatita.
Thank you so much for today's session, Shantnuji. It was wonderful. And to all our viewers, if you liked it too, then don't forget to share it with your loved ones. Also, stay tuned as we meet again on next Thursday at 8 a.m. for yet another session on the Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Hari Om.